What's going on, lads and lasses? It's ended out in Suwon, of course, Korea, and it is, of course, a defeat once again as Newcastle took on, of course, Team K-League out in South Korea. So let's get into it. I've got to say, I'm not really impressed, to be honest, with the way things are going so far. I'm pretty annoyed at the way we've been playing. To be honest, in pre-season. I know it's pre-season, but it is getting to the point now where we're 3 games in, 4 games if you want to count the behind closed doors game against Carlisle, which is, by the way, the only game that we've actually won, and we didn't even get to see it because it was behind closed doors. So all of the games so far that we've gotten to see have all been losses, and this is unacceptable. Even in pre-season, we need to be picking up at least some wins on the road to this season kicking off, because we need that, of course, to build confidence in the squad, to build moral in the squad going forward. And again, looking at the game out in South Korea, the first of 2, of course, we've got Tottenham up next in the game in Seoul, and then, of course, be coming back to the UK for the game against Espanyol. But I mean, looking at the game out in South Korea against this Team K-League, I've got to say it's really, really not good. Looking at the way the lads are playing in the game, they looked out of place. They didn't look like they were, anything like the team that we've seen under Eddie Howe. And I know, yes, it's pre-season, but I mean, some key moments that we can talk about. Elanga's consistency was brilliant. He did look really good. He looked really sharp at times, but he did again have, that moment where his pass was off a bit here and there, and that obviously is acceptable to a degree. But that's something that Eddie is going to have to work with him on. The team is going to have to work with him on, of course, because we can't be having that sort of thing. When the season starts, we can't be having, the passes going awry, touches being awry, and that's something, that needs to be addressed quite early, and these are the times when we should be addressing it. As for the finishing problems, we're seeing Gordon put a shot wide. He could have just took a touch and then had a shot with it, and it might have given him a better option there. Asula as well had a chance, and there was a finishing problem with that as well. And then Langa had a decent chance but couldn't convert from it neither. So we're seeing some problems there on the finishing side of things. We're seeing problems, obviously, on the defensive side of things, because that is now 4 goals conceded against Celtic, 3 goals conceded against Arsenal, and now a goal conceded against the Team K-League. So we are, of course, susceptible to being scored against, and that is something that needs to be addressed. However, on the positive side of things, we did get to see Park Seong-soo, our new South Korean wonder kid, dubbed, of course, the South Korean Mbappe, according to what the Premier League is saying. And I've got to say, I was pretty impressed with what I seen. The lad came on to a huge eruption from the crowd, and he came on and did really well. He put in some really good minutes. He had some really good moments in the game as well, including the one where he got to the sideline and took it past 2 players and then tried to get it into the box. And then, of course, another moment where he was just out of nowhere, found himself into the box and then beat the man, only being pulled back so he couldn't, unfortunately, get the shot off. But if he hadn't have been, he would have been able to possibly get the shot off and have a chance at goal. But he was just like literal wildfire all over that box and all over the pitch once he came on. That lad is going to be huge for us. So my opinion is we do not send him out on loan. We keep him at the club. We, use him as a rotation player to start off with. But that lad has got a lot of potential, and I can see why so many teams in Europe were looking at bringing that lad to their team, and we beat them all away and signed this lad. And I'm really, really happy with that because this lad looks really good. Park Sung-soo looks really, really good, and he's going to be a hell of a player for Newcastle. Once, Eddie gets a chance to be able to develop the lad a bit more as well. But right now, he is looking really good as well. We did see the debut of Max Thompson coming on as well. It was good to see another academy lad getting his chance and his time on the pitch, but I do have to question, why Eddie didn't look to bring in somebody like Ruddy on the from the bench, or bring in any of the other goalkeepers that we had on the bench. But fair enough, at the end of the day, if it was to give Max Thompson his time and give him a chance to get some minutes and a chance to get out there on the pitch, then fair enough. But we need to be addressing these problems with the defense side of things and the finishing side of things right now, because we've only seen ourselves score 2 goals in this pre-season so far, if you don't count the game against Carlisle United, which we won 4-0. But that is something that needs to be addressed, in my opinion. And I know, yes, it is pre-season. These are games, that are just there to get minutes in the legs, but we are looking out of place here. We're looking like a team that needs, some refresh. We need to be seeing some signings coming in. We've seen, Anthony Langer come in. We've seen Aaron Ramsdale, obviously, he'll be coming in as well, because that's been given the here we go and all that stuff. And it's been given the done deal notice. But we need to be seeing somebody coming in at that centre-back role. That is an area that we need to be looking at. And we now looks like we're going to be needing to look at the midfield as well, because it looks like Joe Willock has picked up an ankle injury. It looks like he's broken his ankle in the game there, of course, out in South Korea, and it looks like he might be out now for a while. We'll have to wait and see on the official news, but just looking at it, he went off on the stretcher. He didn't seem to get straight up either after he got tackled by the player for the K-League team, and that is something that we will have to keep an eye on. But if it is that he is going to be out for a reasonable while, which it looks like it is, then we are going to have to be looking at bringing in somebody in that midfield, because again, we are going to be weaker in that midfield once again, especially with the departure of Sean Longstaff. Then you put this in of Joe Willock, then we are going to be needing to look to that area. So I hope that we don't, put aside the centre-back role and the target just on the midfield role, because we need to be having that centre-back. We've pushed it off too far. We need to get it, and we need to get it now. And that is something that has to be addressed. So there's quite a few areas in the team that needs addressed. We need a centre-back. We need, that midfield position, because we're going to be late there, especially if Joe Willock has now picked up a long-term injury. And then, of course, the striking department, which at the moment still is undecided, because Isak is still playing childish games with our club. And the media are not helping with all of this play antics with the club in the spotlight. Something needs to be done about this because it is getting out of hand now. But let us know your thoughts on that game, of course, in South Korea against Team K-League All-Stars. And of course, who was your standout player in the game? I've got to say, my one would be Park Sung-soo. That lad just looked absolutely amazing the moment he came on. And, I can't wait to see more of him. I really can't. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. However, lads.